The most important thing that came out of my first ayahuasca retreat wasn't the ceremony. It was a moment that happened a few hours later when I turned my phone back on. The day after the last night of my first ayahuasca retreat, we gathered for a sharing circle. People talked about demons, pain, and death, heavy things. My experience had been different and beautiful. I touched what I can only call the source and experienced deep bliss and happiness. I'm not here to recommend ayahuasca to anyone. This is just what I experienced. When it was my turn to speak, I didn't talk about ego death or the source. I talked about my son instead. I talked about how deeply I loved him and how I felt I was falling short. I cried as I said it. When I left the retreat and turned on my phone, I saw a message from his mother waiting for me. It said, "I am taking Dustin to see the commissioning of the USS Santa Barbara at the Ventura Naval Base on April 1st at 10 a.m. I'm waiting for the invite to arrive." He was scheduled to be with me that weekend. She often made plans with him on my weekends without consulting me beforehand. This left me torn between confronting her or shielding him from her anger. If I confronted her, she would get angry and take it out on him. He would beg me not to confront her, knowing that she would yell at him. This time was different. Something had shifted. I was filled with love, and the correct response came to me instantly, clear, direct, and kind. I wrote, "He is scheduled to be with me that weekend. Let's all go together." This would be a great opportunity for Dustin to spend time with both of his parents. Her response was brief. She said she could not get any more tickets. Before, this might have sparked anger and frustration. This time, it didn't. I sent this message. Time with Dustin is precious. It is not okay for you to schedule events with him on my weekends without asking me. I forgive you, but please don't do it again. How about the following weekend, when he is scheduled to be with you, we all do something together? It doesn't have to be something fancy. How about sushi? He loves sushi. That message felt effortless. It felt kind and firm and not based upon fear or anger. What surprised me wasn't what I said. It was how little effort it took when love was driving the response. After I sent it, I didn't replay the conversation in my head. It felt settled. Over the days and weeks that followed, I spotted new approaches to resolving conflict when I led with love. When I returned to my apartment, the woman I was dating was already there. She noticed my energy right away. I told her I missed her, and then, wanting to be open about my feelings, I told her I love her. This was the first time I had ever said it to her. Her response was, "Oh, wow." I didn't know what her response meant for our future, but I felt at peace having said it. One incident stands out vividly. Shortly after my journey, she and I went out to dinner at a quiet vegan Thai restaurant. It was empty, giving us the perfect setting for an intimate conversation. I began recounting my experience in detail. The emotions were still fresh, and I cried several times. Midway through my retelling, a couple came in and sat close by. I hesitated due to the deeply personal nature of what I was describing. I lowered my voice, wanting to be discreet as I finished my retelling. Even so, My voice must have carried further than I intended. To my surprise, he turned towards me and began opening up about his own feelings. He told me how deeply my story resonated with him and how much he craved connection. That stayed with me. It became clear how deeply disconnected many people feel. Since then, I've noticed people often open up to me when they're trying to find ways to deal with conflict in a way that doesn't cause more harm. I think a lot of us are trying to find ways to say the right thing in moments that matter, but don't know how to get started. Since then, I've paid closer attention to the moments where love wants to speak.